psychological force and physical force. For every soul in the universe, including man, there is elements which everybody knows and which is a secret. For some character of matter, a behavior of matter, but why they do something, we know some characters of matter, behavior of matter, but why they do something they does is a secret because they don't tell us that. On the case of communication between human beings, on many occasions, to believe him or not is a question mark. We don't know what is inside his mind, but we assume he is something of our kind. When we hit a chair, it moves. That is its character. But why do they move is a secret as long as they don't tell us. But we like to believe that matter feels as we feel when somebody pushes us. We feel a force. The concept of energy also came like this. When we have energy, we can move. We get energy by eating food. Matter is called as the subject or soul. Matter knows different things. They can communicate with each other. These four concepts called matter, energy, force, and communication is widely described in science. But we don't have idea what it is or where does it come from. We also don't know how it comes. The attraction between magnets is an example. Matter knows matter. That is why when we push an object, it moves. If both the objects do not know each other, movement will not occur. If the second object does not know that there is some force applied, it can't move. It is difficult to draw a fine line between living and non-living things. There should be a force felt on both matter and soul on the basis of physics and psychology. These two forces should be same, but its purpose is different. One is physical and the other is psychological. The behavior of both these forces is specific according to science, which means that matter or soul both does not have any free will. The question of free will breaks down to why the subject called matter or soul behaves according to force. The force which is felt on an electron by a nucleus, force which is felt by a push, and the force which we feel on our mind may be all same type of force. We can see that the subject is also a force. In the case of matter, every part has an inherent energy on it. So the thing which we know is also a force. If we consider ourselves as a force, each and every person and animal on the universe is a force which act and react on the basis of psychology. We are psychological force and the matter is a physical force. Because we are same force, we can communicate with matter. Mind is communicating with matter on body. Body does what our mind says. We don't know the character of that I which knows generally. It can know, that's all. But each of that or knowing capacity is subjected to physical conditions. Even our relation with the body, which means that the control over the body, that is medical science. If we want to know the universe, everything should be on our brain. From where does everything come to the brain? We associate matter with five forces. but actually it should be the psychological force which makes the universe like this, which means that every force in nature is associated with a psychological force. Psychological force is the force which comes to our mind like pleasure, sadness, pain, etc. These emotions should be acting on matter also. For example, gravitational force is associated with 1, weak force is associated with 1. Gravitation means every matter loves matter. We can push another body because matter enjoys loneliness. Water flows because of liquidity. We can find people whose character is solid. We can find inertia on our mind. When we have started doing something, it is very difficult to get away from that. Like this, there are several examples. The force which acts on matter should be same, even though one act according to psychology and the other act according to physics. Matter doesn't have free will on the psychological force. Psychological force act on matter according to the laws of physics. Knowing does not come from chemical reaction, but chemical reaction comes from the knowing of forces by matter.